Greetings, comic fans, and once again, you have the solid four-string bottom ender coming at you. For you guys that didn't know what my screen name meant, it's a music thing. So, anyway, I think probably in some circles, I'm kind of one of the kings of random comic videos, because I like a little bit of everything, especially from the Bronze Age. I know there are several guys out there just like me. They like a little bit of everything from around that period. And I think most of us that started out early collecting, 40 years or more, from back in the 60s and 70s, there was only 7 or 8 companies then. So you kind of, if you couldn't find the ones you wanted, you kind of picked up some other stuff, and you kind of grew to appreciate those books and those titles anyway. This is just a random stack of stuff from a dealer that I bought off of several times on eBay. I always have great service. This last time I got some books from them. There was 3 books missing, and and I know stuff happens and people are human, so I just kind of sent them a note saying, well, 3 books were missing, and then they sent me this big elaborate email back saying, well, they had like a new clerk, as far as like mailing clerk, as far as like mailing their stuff out, and they had problems with them before, and that clerk didn't work for them anymore. And I guess like right after this happened, they got rid of that person. So they're pretty serious about getting things straight. But they found the books and they sent them out, and I had the rest of them within a few days. But this is just some stuff. Some of these books I did not have. Some of them I had, and I just wanted reading copies, because a lot of these are like lower grade to mid grade. Still some good looking stuff in here, but like I say, some stuff I didn't have, some stuff that I had when I was a kid, and I just wanted to replace that or just have it to read. Some of them are upgrades, just a little bit of everything, and it covers several companies here. So this is all Bronze Age stuff. But anyway, get started. We've got Star Trek number 6. And I think Marvel actually did a good adaptation, because I think this comic started like right after the first Star Trek movie in 79 or 80. And they actually did some good adaptations, kind of continuing, along the lines of the Enterprise crew after you first saw them come back in the first movie. So actually a pretty good comic. Like they, most of these are like in mid-grade. Some of them are, fine. Maybe a couple VFs. But all in all, just if you just want a good stack of reading, and I'm going to give you the seller's name after this in case anybody's interested, because I really would like to promote these guys. Like I say, Star Trek number 6. Some Charlton Horror. Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves, number 64. Steve Ditko. A little browning around the edges, but otherwise. Okay. Our Fighting Forces, featuring the Losers, number 146. One of those great old DC 20 centers with a Joe Kubert cover. This is a book I actually had as a kid, and I wanted it again, and this is basically just a reading copy. I think the cover is held on by one staple. So I want to go ahead and show you this. One of the things that I loved about this book, of course, you have some great John Severin art. Severin did several war stories for DC. Just some great stuff. But the story that I really remembered. Another note about this is actually one of the Mark Jeweler insert editions of this book. For those of you that collect the Mark Jeweler stuff, this is one of those. Got the little jewelry insert in the middle of it. People collect anything. I don't know. Anyway, the story I was wanting to tell you about was actually in the back. And of course, these ads, you gotta love the ads for the old treasuries. But the story I really loved was written by Archie Goodwin and art by Alex Toth. It's called Burma Sky. And I read this story just countless times. Just great art by Alex Toth. Great story by Archie Goodwin. And some more of those great ads when they were advertising the 100-pagers. Two of my favorites there. Yeah, so you know, for those of you that like the war books, this story is top notch. Well, the book is top notch regardless. Like I say, it's falling apart, but I just wanted to read again. So, Our Fighting Forces 146, number 150 with another great Kubert cover. Probably in a VG. I think somebody's kind of wrote in ink up here. Doesn't bother me. Okay, back to some Charlton stuff. Scary Tales number 23. I've already rebagged this stuff because most of the stuff had, you could tell had been in the bags for a few years because they were starting to yellow. And I might have put one of these in Mylar, but the rest of them, this is probably going to be their permanent home, whether I keep them or sell them. Okay, DC Comics presents number 50. Another book I had as a kid, and I don't know what happened to it, but this was one of my all-time favorite Superman stories. I think this was included in the Best Stories of the Year collection in one of the DC Digests, like in the early 80s, and well worth it too, because for anybody that's familiar with the Legion of Superheroes stories and all that, this includes the Controllers and the Miracle Machine, and it's really one of the best Superman stories in my opinion ever. So DC presents number 50. Well worth seeking out. This is another book I had as a kid, and this is Superman and Wonder Woman Radio Shack one-shot, The Computer Masters of Metropolis. Some great Kurt Swan art. Marvel Team Up, number 56. This is actually in pretty high grade. Got a couple little dings. The thing I will say, I think that all the books I purchased were like anywhere from 99 cents to like $1.79. I think the highest I paid for one in this stack was maybe $5, and this was because it was a number one issue and it was a high grade. Like I say, that's for people who just want to read or they want to fill some gaps. This seller has a little bit of everything. I think this is a John Romita cover. Yeah. Another really cool cover, Marvel Team Up number 84 by Steve Lealoa, if that's the right pronunciation. The only other thing that comes to mind, that I know Lealoa did a lot of stuff, but the thing that really sticks out in my mind is like Secret Wars 2. But this is a really cool cover. Love Shang-Chi. Okay, more Charlton. Space War number 32. And the cover and the interiors were by Pat Boyette. And the guy that scripted this story is Sergis O'Shaughnessy, who, as a lot of people may or may not know, was another pen name for Denny O'Neil. But this was actually, I think, reprinted from a Charlton premiere. Still a really good story. Children of Doom. Okay, another, I think I may have already had a copy of this, but this was an upgrade. Like I said, it was like less than $2. Ghostly Haunts 38. This is like in very fine condition, which is kind of rare in a Charlton comic. Hardly a blemish at all. Got a great Tom Sutton cover. Got Tom Sutton art on the inside, Steve Ditko. Kind of want to show you something. You got to love Charlton. I mean, they use the cheapest paper in printing. You can see on the first page, the paper is cut short. And then I think maybe on the last page, or one of the last pages, same thing. You know, I think they were really into cost cutting as far as the paper and the printing. Doesn't take away from how good the comic is, though. Like I say, the cover looks really good. Maybe just a couple little dings, but I'm a big Tom Sutton fan, so this one really kind of pops out at you. Okay, more Ghostly Tales, number 119. Grab a cup of coffee. And yes, this is Snoopy. Okay, we have House of Secrets 149. Great Mike Kaluta cover. Basically a reading copy. Big chunk out of the front cover. But some really good reading on the inside. I think something I wanted to show on this. A lot of the same artists did the DC stuff back in the 70s. One thing really cool about this was this frontispiece by Michael Golden with Abel of the House of Secrets. And I think one of the other artists, well, maybe it wasn't this book. Okay, I think that's in another issue. Okay, back to Marvel. Marvel Team Up number 32, Human Torch and the Son of Satan. This one pretty ratty shape. You can see along the top. But for like $1.49, you can't go wrong. Just something to fill some numbers on that run. And here might be a rarity for Superman and Neil Adams fans. There's a Superman or Action Comics number 473, Fighting the Phantom Zone Villains, and this cover is actually by Curt Swan and inks by Neil Adams. So kind of an odd pairing. Probably the two most famous Superman artists, with all respect to John Byrne. But Curt Swan was and always will be the Superman artist for me. But this is Curt Swan pencils and Neil Adams on the inks. Okay, Action Comics 576. Nothing special about it. Just a Bronze Age Superman I didn't have, so I thought I'd go ahead and pick it up. Okay, here's the only one I paid any substantial money for, comparatively speaking to the others. I upgraded my copy of Secrets of Haunted House number 1. And this is probably a very fine plus copy. We've got a couple little stress marks at the top. But all in all, a really nice comic for $4.99. Thought that was a real bargain for Bronze Age DC number 1, especially with the horror genre. I'm sure this is a this is a Luis Dominguez cover, or Louis Dominguez. You can kind of, sorry about the glare, but you can kind of see his initials down there. But really nice book. More Luis Dominguez, Jonah Hex, number 40. With the Scalp Hunter feature in the back. Legion of Superheroes 277 with a George Perez cover. This is an upgrade. Okay, more Charlton. Doomsday +1 number 2. John Byrne. Or as he likes to sign his name sometimes in here, Byrne Robotics, which is also like the name of his website. So for all you John Byrne fans, pretty cool little series. Of course, it's one of those post-apocalyptic things, so, you know, I'm all over this one. I think I'm maybe a couple issues shy. There's only 12 issues, I believe. And we have more Doomsday +1, number 4. This one is actually in pretty high grade. I think looks pretty nice there. Nothing major on the spine. More John Byrne. And another Superman Radio Shack giveaway against major disaster and the computers that saved Metropolis, starring the TSRS-80 Computer Whiz Kids. Thing that's kind of different about this one, the art was by Jim Starlin and Dick Giordano. So you don't see much, you You don't see much of Jim Starlin at DC. This is just one of the few. He actually looks pretty good, inked by Giordano. Like I say, this was a Radio Shack giveaway. Another one that I had when I was a kid, and I just wanted another copy of it. Okay, Batman 316, guest star Robin. This issue, condition-wise, is pretty much a dog. Some kind of stains on the front. A lot of creases and stuff in it, but a really nice cover against one of the old Batman foes, Crazy Quilt. But a good reader copy. Unexpected 170. I think this is one of the issues I had missing. Marvel Team Up 34, Spider-Man and Valkyrie. Okay, how about some Harvey comics? Here's Spooky Spooktown number 23. This is another dog copy. It's pretty chewed up, but it's one of those really cool square-bound books with lots of fun little stories in them. Probably the Harvey characters, probably Spooky and Hot Stuff and Stumbo the Giant were my favorite characters at that time. So this has got a lot of cool stuff in it for fans of old Harvey comics. Casper and the Ghostly Trio number 6. More of the same. 20-cent cover. And back to more Charlton. Ghostly Haunts number 48. Very cool cover. I think the artist on this might be a guy named Rich Larson, and he did several horror stories. I don't know what really happened to that guy after Charlton, but I really liked his artwork. I guess it was kind of a, I don't know, cross between Joe Staton and John Byrne. Okay, really cool Marvel Bronze Age Cole the Conqueror number 6. Pretty high grade on this one. Severin cover, and you have John and Marie both doing the art on this one. So just a beautiful, beautiful cover. The colors are great on this one. It's really hard to find one that's got part of a black background and doesn't have some kind of little ding in it where the color breaks, but other than that, really nice looking book. Okay, and here's one of those cool picture frame covers. This one, condition-wise, is a real dog. but I don't know if I've shown this in another video already or not. This is Western Gunfighters number 11. With the Black Rider, Apache Kid, and Matt Slade. Like you can see, it's kind of chewed up on this corner. But it's got a really cool Gil Kane cover. I think this part is Kane, and probably a little vignettes on the side or Severin. But a really cool cover regardless. Okay, some Atlas Comics. The Brute number 3. An issue I have missing. I think this was maybe Pablo Marcos. One of my favorite artists, yeah. Marcos. From the short-lived Atlas line. I don't think any book went past number 4. And I really like this one. This is Phoenix number 3. And this has got art by a guy named Sal Amendola, which when I was a kid and I first started reading comics, I think it was like maybe Detective Comics 439, where it kind of got Batman on the front cover and all these crooks are running from him, and there's like no dialogue from Batman whatsoever in the story. But he kind of reminded me a lot of Neil Adams. You can kind of tell there's a lot of Adams influence there. So I really like the art. Really like the old ads, especially the Planet of the Apes model kits snapped together. Some more great art in the back. Some early stuff from Pat Broderick, a character named the Dark Avenger. Really like Broderick's work. Two more great pages. And for anybody who wants to collect the Atlas run, these books are relatively inexpensive, unless you want to get super high grade. A lot of them are kind of hard to track down. I think a lot of the black and white magazines and this stuff, the Archie type stuff like Vicky, is kind of hard to find. But really, it's a worthwhile collecting goal. Okay, more Mighty Marvel Western, number 31, Gil Kane cover. And some Archie. Archie's TV Laugh Out, number 23. Giant square-bound books. This one actually is in really, really nice grade. You know, for like less than $2, hardly a blemish on this one. Really nice. So, okay, DC Comics presents number 9, Superman and Wonder Woman. One of the few I had missing from this run. Okay, got a couple more. This was kind of cut funny, so I'll have to look inside for the... Oh, okay. This is House of Secrets 141. Like I say, like a few of these are kind of chewed up, but basically just wanted these to read. I think it's an Ernie Colon, or Ernie Cohen, however you want to pronounce it, cover. And the last one in this stack, I actually got probably 2 or 3 high-grade copies of this, but I wanted a reader copy because I must have, something happened to my one that I bought it off the rack. But this is Justice League of America 139. You know, it's got some stuff missing up here, kind of crinkled, but you have a great Neil Adams cover. Great, and you have actually 2 complete stories in this. What was cool, okay, up to issue 139, these were all like regular, I guess, 32-page size comics, and then with this issue right here, number 139, it went to a giant size, and I think it lasted through like issue 161. It was like a double size, and they really got to flesh out some of the personalities and the characters. And I think about this time Steve Englehart came on the title and just did some great stories. Put a lot more characterization, a little bit more conflict, you know, sort of like an Avengers type, you know, deal. So I really enjoyed this run that Englehart. I think Cary Bates writes the first story and Englehart's in the second one. But for fans of the JLA, or for somebody that wants to try the JLA and they liked Englehart's run on the Avengers, I would recommend starting with this issue and probably going through maybe 160. I'm not sure how many issues Englehart did, but he did several in there. But I just got this one to read. So glad to have that. Okay, like I say, I've done a lot of dealing with this seller. So if anybody's interested in just getting a good stack of reading cheap, I mean, they have high grade stuff too. But if you're just wanting to fill some gaps or just get some cool reading material from the 70s and so on, this is the name of the seller, Sandy's-Lobo. So anybody that wants to can check them out. They always have some great prices on comics, and would highly recommend them. Anyway, this video is running kind of long, but it was a big stack of books. But appreciate you guys sticking around and checking me out. And I will see you next time. Onward and upward.